Oof. Okay. Well, okay. Well, hello. I wonder if there are anyone here. Uh-huh. Well, honestly want to do something different. I that I want to talk about. Oh my God. Okay. Huh. Um, sure. Hmm. Well, I wonder if there are anyone here. Anyone watching? God. Hmm. Guess not. Okay. Um. Hmm. Are there anyone here? Well, well, I wanted to make a live stream where we talk about what is like the best or the worst Final Fantasy games. I thought that would be interesting, especially since I found this article. I just wonder if there are anyone there in the chat. I think I started this way too early. Oh shit. Um, um, sorry about that. Are you guys here with me? I started it again. Oh god. I messed it up. Okay, I'm so sorry I got a little bit. Oh. Today, I want to do a little bit different. Today, I found this article that says 8 best and 8 worst Final Fantasy games. And I want to talk, and I want to look through this article together, actually. Like, I think it would be fun. At least I hope it will be fun. And I guess we'll see if we agree with this guy's opinion or not. Yeah, oh, okay, yeah, there are a lot of articles, and the first one is the first worst is Final Fantasy 13. I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, I think 13 is a disappointing title, obviously. Definitely not the greatest one. I mean, I do know I found 13 to be a bit of a disappointment. I really do. I mean, that's not surprising, of course. So I don't disagree. Okay. I mean, do we have some Final Fantasy 13 fans right here? No. But the gameplay and mechanics failed to match the visual experience. Yeah. Well, like I said, 13 is definitely not one of the best. Okay. However, the game's protagonist, Lightning, had become an iconic and recognized character in the world of Final Fantasy, as she has since made additional appearances in the series. Okay. Okay. I can just say my opinion about this, and 13 is definitely not one of the greatest ones, so I don't see any problem. So, okay. And the first best we have is Final Fantasy 4. Well, that's honestly a great choice, actually. Like, yeah, I agree. Final Fantasy 4 is definitely a game I like, actually. I think obviously I think some games that came after is a bit better, but still, I think 4 is definitely. I would definitely list 4 as one of the best. I would say. Built on. Oh, it's press made improvements that guide the franchise going forward. A powerful storyline, compelling characters, and iconic soundtrack work together to provide. Yeah, well, Final Fantasy 4. Yeah, good game. I like it. Okay, next we have worst Final Fantasy 2. Oh crap. Final Fantasy 2. Yeah, Final Fantasy 2 is definitely like yeah. Yeah, I don't like Final Fantasy 2. I really don't. Like I appreciate I appreciate that they decided to experiment on Final Fantasy 2, but it has ideas that just didn't work out as it should have. Yeah, like so I do agree that's definitely one of the worst. I think it's definitely the worst, worst in the NES trilogy, as well as yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Final Fantasy II has a storyline that's forgettable. The characters don't have much development, but it does have that great meme that guys speak beaver. I love that meme. That meme actually. Okay, 13. One of the best is Final Fantasy X, and oh god, I think I have to reload this page because there's some little bit glitches. But anyway, Final Fantasy X, one of the best, absolutely. With all honesty, Final Fantasy X is definitely one of my. Final Fantasy X is definitely one of my favorites in the series. I really, really love Final Fantasy X. I don't know much. I don't know what Shadow Hearts is, but I'll try it eventually. But I'm gonna talk about what is the best and the worst in the Final Fantasy series. And 10, one of the best. Yeah, absolutely, definitely. It's a fantastic game with a wonderful cast of characters. It has great visuals and also an amazing storyline. Amazing storyline. It really does. So, yeah. Not a big fan of its sequel though, 10-2. So far, I don't see any problem with the list. Worst, Final Fantasy V. Final Fantasy V is one of the worst. No. No. No, this is the first one I disagree. This is actually the first one I disagree. I mean, well, yeah, Final Fantasy V is not better than 4 or 6. But still, I think Final Fantasy V is a very enjoyable game. Not perfect, but I think it's extremely enjoyable. Okay. I don't like. I'm just gonna be honest here. I don't like this pick. I don't think Final Fantasy V deserves to be on one of the worst part in this list. Really disagree on this one. Okay. Final Fantasy 15 as one of the best, huh? Yeah, that's true. I like that moment too. Final Fantasy 15 as one of the best. I mean, I don't dislike Final Fantasy 15. I do think it is enjoyable for what it is. But I don't know, there's something about 15 that just feels incomplete. But I wouldn't go as far as to say, like, it's difficult. It's very difficult to explain this, but yeah, 15 does have its great moments. But I can also understand why people are disappointed in 15 as well. Like I said, it feels incomplete. That's the best way to describe it. But does 15 deserve to be one of the best or one of the worst? That's something I'm not sure I figured out just yet. But I can just say my opinion is that I do enjoy 15. I don't think it's bad. But like I said, it's incomplete to me. Okay, and Final Fantasy VIII as one of the worst. No! This is a major red flag. Major red flag. Would you like to buy this DLC to complete the game? Even with the DLC, the game still feels incomplete. But like I said, Final Fantasy VIII is absolutely nope. This is a big nope for me. Because I don't care what people say, I love Final Fantasy VIII. I really do. It's Honestly, one of my top 5 favorites. I mean it. I don't care what people say, because, like I said, I love this game. I mean, sure, yeah, I get that Final Fantasy VIII can be a bit confusing, but like I said, I don't care. I think that I honestly think Squall is such a great protagonist, and I also find the junction system actually a lot more interesting than I thought it would. And I also think the atmosphere that Final Fantasy VIII has is also a great atmosphere. I extremely disagree with this pick. I really mean it. This is a red flag from me. Okay, admitting that 6 and 7 are better, of course. Like I said, this is a red flag. I disagree. This is a big nope from me. Nope. Nope. Absolutely nope. Like I said, I don't care what people say. You can say whatever you want about me, but I love this game. I really do. Best Final Fantasy IX as one of the best? Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. I think, yeah, Final Fantasy IX is a great game. It really is. It's actually one of the first one I played in the series. I probably played 9 after I played through 7. But I agree, Final Fantasy IX is a fantastic, amazing game with a fantastic atmosphere, a great cast of character, a very, I remember being emotionally invested with the storyline and the characters, especially Vivi. I like 8 a lot. Yep, absolutely. I love 8. And I love 9. I think 9 is also a great, fantastic game, and I agree. Yeah, it is one of the best. Okay, Final Fantasy Tactic as one of the worst? Final Fantasy Tactics is one of the worst. Huh. I never played Tactics, so I can't speak for everyone here, but I always assumed that people loved Final Fantasy Tactics, that it was a great game as far as I understand, but this guy, he says that it's one of the worst. I don't know. I mean, yeah, he says Tactics is one of the worst. Square released Final Fantasy Tactics in 1997, Tactics, in an attempt to add new RPG elements in the already well-respected franchise, with the game borrows the thematic elements of the Final Fantasy series. The game engine that drives the battle is completely different for players. This game introduced the aspect of job points as well as experience points. This means that players could assign a certain job to a character, ranging from a chemist to a knight, which would then apply certain bonus to their stats. Okay. I'm not sure I get his reason for disliking this game, so the battle system was also overhauled as units appeared on a checkered battlefield and had a certain number of moves before their turn was over. The game's success led to a spin-off on Game Boy Advance and Nintendo DS. I'm not sure he explained very well why he doesn't like this game. I get that he doesn't like it because of the job points and experience point. I don't know. I feel like, okay, this is definitely going to be a controversial choice in this list. A very, very big controversial choice. So, to this guy, Final Fantasy Tactics is one of the worst. Huh. Okay. Okay, let's look at next one. Final Fantasy 14 as one of the best. G guy. Huh. Final Fantasy 14 is one of the best. Well, I haven't played a whole lot of 14. You must hate games like Fire Emblem. Yeah, I think you're right, Red Arts. I think you're right. I haven't played a whole lot of 14, but I think 14 was enjoyable. I I don't dislike 14 at all. I think it's pretty fun. Well, well, I'm talking about A Realm Reborn. I'm not talking about the 14 before A Realm Reborn. No, no, no. I'm talking about like game. Okay, it's a fun MMORPG game. Okay. Oh God, I can't say it. Why can't? But it's a fun game. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. So I don't see anything wrong with this one. The original, the original Final Fantasy game as one of the worst. The first Final Fantasy game ever made is one of the worst. Well, admittingly, it hasn't aged that well, but I wouldn't go as far as to say it's terrible. I mean, I think it's enjoyable. It hasn't aged well, but I think it's enjoyable. Of course, original 14 was garbage. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, Noctis Pharaon, that the original 14 was garbage. I was talking about Realm Reborn. That was the one I'm talking about. Looks like his main tactics is too different. Well, I think that it's different was a good thing. Okay, he said. Okay, he lists the original Final Fantasy as one of the worst. I mean, like I said, it hasn't aged well, but I think it's still a fun game. Of course, other games after this one is better, but I still think it's worth trying the original game at least once. Yeah, it hasn't aged that well, but I wouldn't go as far as to call it, bad. Yeah. And this guy says that the original Final Fantasy felt more like a clone of Dragon Quest. With a few unique features and gameplay adjustments rather than a new RPG. Where does this guy think Dragon Quest took its inspiration from? Like maybe I'm getting this wrong, but I always assumed Final Fantasy came before Dragon Quest, or maybe I'm wrong. No, I'm sure this game came before. This guy makes it sound like that's not the case. And that's interesting, because the original game in the series was trying to replicate, Dungeon and Dragons, that popular board game. That's what it was all about, the original game. I mean, I'm just saying what Sakuchi said. Okay. Okay. What? It was the first one and came before Dragon Quest. Oh, okay, I was right. It did came before Dragon Quest. Yeah, you're right. It's strange. This guy makes it sound like it's the other way around. Like, that's weird. I don't get this pick. I'm not gonna lie. I really don't get this pick. I mean, like I said, it hasn't aged well, but it's still fun. I mean, Proyard said it in his review. If you have seen Proyard's review of this game, he has said that the game is fun. Yeah, it's not perfect. Definitely not the greatest one in the series, but it's still a game that's worth playing. I mean, that's my opinion. That's just my opinion, of course. Okay. Now let's move on. Final Fantasy VII as one of the best. Well, that's obvious. I don't feel like say anything about this choice, so let's just move on. Final Fantasy III as one of the worst. Well, I mean, Final Fantasy III as one of the worst. This is weird. It seems this guy lists. DK came out in 1986. FF came out in 1997. Huh. Guess I was wrong about that one. But Final Fantasy III as one of the worst. Is it one of the worst? I mean, I think I found 3 enjoyable. I mean, it did get grindy at the end of it, sure, but I don't know. I feel like 3 was an improvement over the first 2 games. Especially after, when you compare this game to 2, this game is definitely an improvement over the first 2 games. At least in my opinion. And not perfect, and like I said, it gets extremely grindy at the end, but to say it's one of the worst, like, this guy must really hate NES games, because he lists all of the Final Fantasy games in NES to be the worst. Not perfect, sure, but still. Huh. Yeah, that's true, Red Odds. I agree with you. I don't think I agree with this one quite. No, I don't. I definitely don't agree with this one, because I definitely think 3 is better than the first 2 games. It's Yeah, I do agree with people saying at the end of the game, but I still had actually some fun with it. I also think Final Fantasy V is an improvement of this game. That's also true. So overall, I'm not sure I understand this one quite a bit. Okay. All right. Well, we'll move on. Um, Final Fantasy 12 as one of the best. Okay. I don't disagree, but Final Fantasy 12 stands as the PlayStation 2's crowning Final Fantasy achievement. No, that's 10. That's 10, not 12. Uh, I list this second as the worst FF. We already passed through Final Fantasy 2 on this game, so yeah. But anyway, at 12, I mean, this is gonna be a bit. This is gonna be controversial. I know, but 12. I don't hate 12, but I don't know. Yeah, I didn't like the story. Okay, I didn't like the story of 12. I do like Baltier. He is a great character, and I think the battle system, it kind of worked, kind of, but but the storyline of this game was just so. It was so meh. Like like a lot of people have pointed out, the storyline is more like a copy of Star Wars. Yeah, you're right, Pascon. 10 is one of the best-selling PS2 games. In fact, it sold more than 12 did, because I remember when Final Fantasy 12 came out, everybody hated it. It has more respect now, but to me, 12, it's fine, okay? It's fine. This is just my honest opinion. I'm not the biggest 12 fan, okay? I love Baltier as a character, but my god, Vaughn is such a boring character. Like, he bores me a lot. Yeah, that's actually true. It's Fran, Ash, and Penelo. So yeah. I think um, So yeah. Anyway, like I said, the storyline of 12, it feels like Star Wars. I like Star Wars, of course, but I just don't think 12 did a good job with the storyline. That's just my opinion. Especially, like, I find the villain in Final Fantasy 12 to be a bit of a boring character. But again, 12, it's fine. It's an alright game. Not perfect, it's alright. If you love 12, that's great. That's great. I I don't hate 12. I'm just saying that 12, it's okay. It's all right. Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna continue. Worst Type 0. Well, I think we already know what's going to be number one, but I have never played Type Zero. I have never played Type Zero actually, but so I don't have an opinion on Type Zero. Like I said, I haven't played the game. Okay, what? Harry says, while in no means a bad game, the decision to give Type Zero a real-time battle system didn't translate very well to the handheld device. Okay, I thought you said this is the worst Final Fantasy game. Huh. Why is he saying that this game is not bad, but he's saying like it's the worst one? Or is it reverse? Okay. Okay, I have never played Type Zero, so I don't have an opinion on it. But I have heard that Type Zero is not the best one. Definitely not the best. Okay. Best is 6. Well, I knew... Well, okay, well, that's fine. Okay. Final Fantasy 6 may not be well known among casual gamers. Come on. Final Fantasy is one of the most popular gaming franchises of all time. Anyway, but it is cherished by those who love the Final Fantasy franchise. Well, that's understandable because 6 is, without doubt, a great and wonderful game. Despite being 23 years old, the game still holds its own against any RPG that has come out since, including other Final Fantasy titles. I don't quite agree on that one. There are actually many other RPGs that I love as well, a lot. Okay. Well, hi, Altair851. Care about Type Zero until they bundle the bad 15 demo with the HD port. I'm a pro fan. Anyway, as it says that no casuals allowed in FF6. I guess you're right. Okay. The game has everything going for it. Compelling characters, yeah, that's true. An immersive storyline that's easy to get lost in. I agree, kind of agree. An epic soundtrack that's still impressive despite its SNES heritage. Yeah, I agree. And one of the best villain gaming history with Kefka. Okay. Controversial alert. This is gonna be controversial. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm not such a big fan of Kefka. I mean, he's okay, but I don't know. When I think about Kefka, he feels more like a simple villain to me. Like, he's crazy and evil, and that's all there is to him. Like, I never got the hype behind Kefka. Like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry if you hate me for it, for saying all this stuff, but that's my opinion. Like, I never understood the hype with Kefka. I'm so sorry. Clown, like, doesn't matter he's a clown. That's not what makes a great villain. Especially, like, if you're going to convince me that Kefka is the greatest villain, I expect him to be more of a complex villain, but he's not. He's just a simple bad guy villain. That doesn't change the fact that I still think Final Fantasy VI is a great, fantastic game. Of course I do. Like I said, it does have great characters, but I feel like people are kinda overhyping the villain a little bit too far. I'm so sorry if you... It's really okay. I'm not saying that you should stop loving Kefka or anything like that. I'm just saying my own opinion, my own point of view, my own perspective. I think people like him as a commentary on nihilism since he destroys because nothing matters to him. Well, again, that's not a good motive. That's not something that buys me him. That's not something that buys me as a great villain or anything like that, because Seymour from 10 does is also the same way, except his case is even worse. Yeah. Yes, offense. Okay. Yeah. I still like that's still not really a great motive to me. That's still not really good enough for me. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I got message. Okay. So yeah, but you know what? But overall, I saw the entire list. Yeah. Yeah. Is there a Watch Mojo video for Fancy? Yes, there is, and I don't like Watch Mojo. I really don't like Watch Mojo. What do I think of? And now I have to say what I think of this list. Um, this list is okay. It's it's fine. Like I don't know. I think this list is okay. It's hmm. Well, what do you guys think about this list? Is there at least 5? Um, you mean Final Fantasy 5? Well, he did list that game as one of the worst. For whatever reason, I do disagree on that pick. There are things I agree with, and there are things that I don't quite agree with. It's a fine list. Well, I kind of wanted to do a live stream on based around this list to see if we had things we can agree with, things we disagree with. I think we all have that one opinion that's basically unpopular to everybody. I know I have unpopular opinions, but that's just who I am. 5. I made at least 5 Watch Mojo videos on FF. I don't know. I don't like Watch Mojo. I don't watch Watch Mojo. They just eh, Watch Mojo to me is just a soulless channel with basic, simple lists. So I don't. I just don't like Watch Mojo a whole lot. I don't want to watch a Watch Mojo video, but no. Okay. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I feel like I don't have. Okay. I don't have anything else to add. I feel like I got to say what I want to say. Well, I hope all of you guys have a nice day. Well, okay. Well, I hope you guys have a nice day, and I hope you guys stay safe and all, and I'll see you guys later. Okay? But you know, before I quit, yeah, before I quit the stream, there's just something I want. I have been thinking about making a video about Final Fantasy VI, and I think about it, it's a bit different from all the others, but I just want you guys to know if you would love that I made a Final Fantasy VI video. Will you do something else today or this week? Peace. Um, does that mean please? Well, I am thinking about doing another stream later, but not now. I want to take a break. FF6 video could be fun. That's nice. Well, see you guys later. And maybe next time we do a live stream, we could talk about protagonist next time. Yeah, I see you guys later, and I hope you guys have a nice day.